siblings and I had passed it on to our children. And what my mother and dad taught us was love of God, love of family, and love of country. And we have always lived by those values. The other thing that happened to me during these 90 years was I went to Pitt, University of Pittsburgh, and I was going to follow through on my career to be a teacher. And the good Lord took care of me because He gave me my soulmate. And he may not be here physically, but spiritually, he is. And as God continued to bless me during my life, He gave my husband and me 4 beautiful, lovely daughters, of whom I am so proud, and who have done such a beautiful job here. Excuse me, I can't help it. And I've been proud of them because they've always lived by the values my husband and I tried to teach them. Whenever they grew up and had their own children, they gave me grandchildren that could not be beat any place in the world. There are ones as good as they are, but no one will ever beat them. And I want my grandson, Anthony Kane, to stand up. And he was my first grandson, not my first grandchild, my first grandson. And he and his wife, Megan, have given me, oh, where's Ben? Oh, okay, that's okay. Anyway, they gave me my first great-grandson. Not my first great-grandchild, but the first great-grandson. Okay, thank you, Tony. My other grandchildren who are here are Anthony Aceto and Joanna Aceto. Now I think everybody in here knows them. Family knows them. And because they also live in the parish family knows them. And I love them dearly, along with their dad. And of course, my daughter, Tony. Okay, now probably you're wondering why some of my other grandchildren are not here. This daughter and her husband, the Rudys, had a daughter, a twin daughter, who just got married 2 weeks ago, today, I think. And we were in Tennessee. And while we were in Tennessee, with all the wedding plans that were going on and so on, these grandchildren, and I have 3 of them, they have 3 daughters, and they are all married now, went and had a surprise birthday dinner for me. And it was a surprise because I never thought that with all the wedding plans that were going on, they would even think to do something like that, but they did. And I was surprised. And of course, they're from Tennessee, so it's a little difficult for them to get here for a weekend and get back to work. His sister, Amanda, had something that came up that was unexpected, so she couldn't be here. She's also married and has a little peppery, darling little girl who I love dearly, and I wish she could be here because she'd be up there performing. I have my daughter, Donna, who is my right hand. She comes to keep me company. She comes to help me do things around the house that I can no longer do. And I love you, Donna. Thank you. So Tony lives within the neighborhood. I see her often. Joanne's from Tennessee. I see her less frequently. Cindy and Jeff, they come and do so many things for me. I couldn't even begin to thank them for it.
What are we doing?
All of my sons-in-law are people that I would have chosen for my daughter, so they did a good job. Thank you. Now I'm leaving the relatives. God has granted me such wonderful friends since I moved into this parish. And they have accepted me and made my life a happy one since my husband passed. The first group who were chosen for me, or I chose them and they chose me, was my church group. The ones who go to Mass on Sunday, saw them. Then I go to daily Mass, and the people who go to daily Mass, we become friends because we receive each other under God's blessing. And I can't say enough about them. But there's another little group within that group that go to breakfast, the Breakfast Club. Would the Breakfast Club people stand? Anyone who's ever gone to breakfast from the daily Mass group, stand up. Are you ashamed of it now? There you go. Yeah. We go to breakfast if you can. That's if you don't have a doctor's appointment. You get to go out to breakfast. You sit, you talk about your family, talk about world events, talk about anything, talk. But it's wonderful, and we enjoy it, and we do it whenever we can. When our church was dedicated, the choir director thought that the choir should expand a little bit for the dedication. So I like to sing. I don't know that I can, but I like to. And so I decided to join the choir for the dedication. But as I was with that wonderful group of men and women, I decided I like this. I'm going to stay. And so I did. Now we have a wonderful choir director. We are so lucky. Carol, would you stand up? Carol Aceta is our choir director. And I can't say enough about the people in the choir. They are not all here today. You saw some of them up here today, and I would like them to stand again. The choir. And I want every one of you to look at Carol, because Carol tells us, don't look at your music, don't look down, don't look over, look at me. I want all of you to look at Carol. Shortly after, not shortly, a few months after my husband passed, it's a very difficult time. And one of my friends came up to me and said, she called me Joan, because at that time she didn't know my name was really Joanne. She said, I belong to a group and we're all widows, and we go to sing at different nursing homes to brighten up their day a little bit. And would you like to join? And I thought, do I want to join? And then I said, yeah, I think I do, because it would give me something to take up my time. So I joined them, and they are the Marian Singers, and we go to perform. I use that word loosely. We go to sing in the nursing homes, and it gives them a little break in their day. But to be honest with you, it does us more good, because we see how much they appreciate it. I have to have a drink of water. So these are the Marian Singers, a finer group of women I couldn't find anyplace. Because we are all widows, we suffer something in common. And I love each and every one of those sisters. Would you stand?
You have to talk into the microphone.
About maybe 3 years ago, my daughter Tony and some of her friends decided that they would start a new ministry within the parish. And it's called the Grace Group. And it is a spiritual and also a social group of women. There could be men there too, but they never show up. But anyway, they could. And we meet twice a month, and we deepen our faith. We discuss our religion, and we think more deeply about the things, how our religion affects our lives individually and as a group. And then, of course, after the meeting, there's food. And that's when we socialize. Now, part of the spiritual work that we do, once a year during Lent, we make a retreat to St. Paul's Monastery. And this year we had more women who went on this retreat from our parish than in previous years, and it was wonderful. One of the big events that we did socially was have a woman's tea, which is held in May near Mother's Day. And this year, it was, well, all the years, it's been fabulous. There were 150 people there, and if we had had room, there could have been more. And it's really a wonderful affair that those girls put on. And they let me be part of that group. I'm the oldest one there. I'm almost the oldest one any place. But anyway, they let me be a part of that group, and I'm very thankful for that. Would anyone from the Grace Group stand up, please? Get away. So, all that I can say today is I thank God, first of all, for giving me this life. I thank my parents for giving me my values. I thank my husband for helping me to have these wonderful daughters. I thank all of my relatives who are here because you're wonderful. I thank all of my friends who are here because without you, these 30 years wouldn't have been worth much. In my life, I have had 3 F's that make my life what it has been. I have my faith, I have my family, and I have my friends. Thank you all.